What's up, friends of the Mystic Frightcast? It's your friendly local neighborhood Zane. Just wanted to do a quick intro for this episode about Hitler, the occult. We get some Reddit creepypasta in there, and of course the 2018 feature motion picture Overlord. Just right up top, wanted to give a quick plug to our social media accounts. We have a Facebook, facebook.com/mysticfrightcast, our Instagram at Frightcast, and our Twitter also at Fright_cast. I'm working on a website for us right now. I'm going to hope to have that up pretty soon. And then you can just find links to all our stuff there. We'll also be posting cool pictures and all that stuff. This was an interesting episode to edit because there was so damn much of it. And I actually managed to get it down to just over an hour, which is pretty good. It's actually shorter than the last episode. But I only managed to do that because there is a hell of a lot of outtakes that I'm going to be posting probably in a couple days. So if you're a fan of the show and you want to hear some just fun behind-the-scenes banter where we kind of go off the rails, just stay tuned and check that out. It's funny, made me laugh. Anyway, on with the show. Have fun.
Feeling blue? Want to cure to life's aches and pains? Tune in to this week's episode of The Mystic Frightcast.
Hello.
Hello. Welcome back to episode 2 of the Mystic Frightcast.
Yes.
Way.
Wow.
It's good to be back. It's been so long.
Yeah, it's actually been 2 days for us.
Yeah. Don't tell them that. Don't
sorry,
ruin the mystique.
The podcast magic.
Yeah. I'm Zane.
I'm McKenna.
You're you.
Yes.
We are us.
Together. As one.
What's up? How you doing?
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Kind of tired.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a little low energy, but I'm gonna try to keep it popping for this episode.
Yeah. We got heat back today.
We did, yeah. Last time, if you're following along in order, you know that we had no heat.
Yes.
Because our oil tank ran out of oil.
Yep.
And now it's back
After
a mighty struggle.
Yeah.
From yours truly to fix that goddamn furnace.
Yep.
But I did it.
Ooh. And now it's not like 30 degrees in our house.
Yeah,
so.
it's a pleasant 70 degrees.
Yep.
Baby. Even though it's literally below freezing again outside.
Yeah.
So, gotta love
Washington in February.
Yeah, it's probably the worst month here.
Yeah, it is for sure.
Although it won't be February when this episode comes out.
Oh, true. It'll be March. So
it's so nice.
Springtime.
Springtime for Hitler and Germany.
Yeah, we're going to talk about Hitler today.
Yeah. What's new with you? Not much.
Did you just ask yourself?
No, I asked you, but I also answered for you.
Yeah, no, there really isn't that much. My back still hurts.
Yep.
And it's been 2 days, so I was just working.
Yeah.
I had dance today.
Yeah, we're going to Disneyland pretty soon.
Oh my god, I'm so excited.
That's why we're recording this now.
Yeah, so we're actually going to be in California.
Yeah.
Disneyland.
Yes.
And Long Beach.
Yep. Go hang out with Snoop.
Does Snoop live in Long Beach?
He's from Long Beach.
Is he really?
LBC, baby.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Yep. That's it. That's what's going on. There's really I don't have much to talk about in ways of personal updates or grievances or anything today.
No, not much.
Kind of living life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Excited to go to California.
Yeah.
Excited for it not to be 30 degrees. Even if it is just like mid 60s. High 60s.
Yeah.
I'm going to be thrilled.
Yeah. Isn't it supposed to rain one of the days, though?
On Thursday.
Yeah. But whatever.
But it's like California rain.
Yeah.
So it's not like real rain.
California rain is nice because it's still warm.
It's still warm.
Yeah.
I like it when it's warm and it's raining.
Yeah.
It's so nice. Yeah. It's California rain, so it doesn't really count.
Yeah.
What matters is that it's supposed to be like 68 degrees when we go to Disneyland.
As long as it doesn't get below freezing,
I know, seriously.
It's going to be an improvement. So,
Jesus.
That's good.
My shoes that I ordered from work are still out here. In case anyone was wondering, they're supposed to get delivered tomorrow.
We'll check back in next week.
Yeah.
for a shoe update. I got some new shoes.
You did. You got 2 new pairs of shoes.
I splurged.
I know. I love shoes.
Yeah, you do. It's true.
I have about 20 pairs.
That's probably about right, actually. You probably have about 20 pairs.
It is. I counted recently.
Yeah. I completed my Eagles vinyl collection today.
Oh, yes. Nerd alert.
Woo! Everybody loves the Eagles.
It's hard not to.
A lot of people don't like the Eagles.
Really?
Yeah. I feel like they're just the ultimate, like, white dad band.
Mm.
But, you know, I'm just fulfilling my role as a white dad. So, like,
yeah.
you know.
You're a future dad.
Yeah.
A dad in the
I feel like
making,
I'm a dad at heart. Anyway.
It's really true.
Yeah.
Remember how we said we're parental?
Yeah.
Oh, that was in that.
Anyway. We're both parental.
Yeah. For those who didn't listen to our, the test episode.
Yeah. I feel
we
like...
talked about how a lot of people call me mom.
Yeah.
And you daddy.
You know, daddy has come up in both episodes now, and I feel like I need to keep it going.
It has. Yes.
So that's gonna pop up in this episode.
Daddy Slender Man.
I'm just gonna slip it in, Slender Daddy.
Slender Daddy.
But yeah, I feel like I am more of a stereotypical dad than you are a stereotypical mom.
True.
Because I listen to, like, dad rock a lot.
You do.
That's mostly. And I listen to...
It's like 90% of what you listen to.
It's like dad rock and country, which is like also it's a variant of dad rock.
Yep.
So, you know, just know who you are and just go with it. You know, that's the moral of the story.
Just be you.
Be who you are.
Be unapologetically yourself.
Yeah.
And embrace your inner dad.
Embrace your inner daddy. All right, well, before this gets too far off the rails, let's talk about Hitler.
Yes, let's.
Woo!
Woohoo!
Everyone's favorite.
Yep, literally gonna say that.
Yep.
Everyone loves Hitler and Hitler-related stories.
Let's make it a song.
There is actually a Hitler musical called... It's actually really famous. It's called...
Are you sure this is real?
Yes, it is.
There's the fake Hitler musical in The Producers.
I was thinking The Producers.
It's not actually a Hitler musical.
Oh, I've never seen The Producers.
It's so funny. It's a musical about two people who decide to produce. No, they decide to produce the worst possible musical they can because they reason that, like, people either go to see, like, the best musicals or the worst musicals.
Oh, true.
So they decide to make the worst musical. And it's about Hitler. Called Springtime for Hitler. That's the song I was singing.
Yeah. Full circle.
Kind of. Before we talk about Hitler, did you know that we're going to get into it. I'm going to jump right in.
Right into it.
Did you know... Don't look at my notes.
Oh, don't look at my notes.
I haven't been looking at your notes. Thank you very much.
Are we going to tell them what movie we watched?
We watched Overlord.
There we go.
Yeah.
Now you know. We watched the movie Overlord. Came out in 2018.
Came out on DVD just a couple days ago.
DVD.
So I bought it. I didn't see it in theaters. I wish I had.
I didn't. Yeah, we didn't go see that one.
It came and went really quickly.
It did.
It barely made back its budget worldwide.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it had like a $35 million budget.
Well, and I also didn't really get, like, just to kind of start it, I guess. I didn't really, like, when I watched the trailers for it, didn't really get the plot in the trailer, like, what was happening.
It was very different. The trailers made it seem like a totally different movie than it was.
Yeah.
Because the trailers made it seem like it was just as like a zombie movie.
Yeah, so I wasn't like as interested in it when I saw the trailers because I didn't know anything about it.
Yeah.
And the trailer wasn't particularly interesting. The movie was actually quite good.
Before we get
Never
too far...
judge a book by its cover or a movie by its trailer.
That's true. That's actually very true. Although I recently bought a book based off of its cover, and it's a good book. So,
I mean...
You know, take that. Age-old adage.
I do that a lot with books and music and...
Most things?
Most things.
Yeah.
Because aesthetic.
Okay.
Okay, now we can continue with your thing.
Into my thing.
What I had to say
Did
before
you know
said your thing.
that the Nazi zombie film genre has been alive and well since 1941?
From 1941?
1941 was the first Nazi zombie movie called King of the Zombies.
But, like, that was, like, during...
It was right during World War II.
Interesting.
Yeah. They followed it up in 1943 with Revenge of the Zombies, which I have the poster for here.
Ooh, let me see.
So I didn't realize, I think when they, like, at this point in history, zombies were just kind of like brainwashed people.
Yeah.
Because those don't, if you look at them, they don't look like zombies.
Well,
they just look like dudes.
Yeah. I mean, they could also just, like, not be as gory.
Mm.
You know?
Yeah.
Because I feel like the zombie kind of,
What's she doing? What's she up to?
I don't know.
She's looking a little like, ooh, hello. Hello, zombie.
She's a little, sketchy.
He's just pouring himself a nice martini.
Looks like a Coca-Cola.
And he has a dildo. A glass dildo.
A glass dildo.
What else? That's what that is.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Yep.
He's surprised. She walked in and saw his dildo, and she's like, ooh. And he's like, oh, hello. And then they're like, what the fuck?
What the fuck?
What the fuck?
Is that allowed?
The next one that I could find was called The Frozen Dead, which came out about 20 years later in 1966.
Okay.
Which had Christopher Lee playing a Nazi scientist who freezes a Nazi battalion and then, like, thaws them after the war is over, but they rebel and kill him.
Oh, well.
So it didn't work out. And then in 1981, Oasis of the Zombies and Zombie Lake came out.
Two came out.
They were both French films.
In the 80s?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And I put together a quick list of other zombie Nazi movies that have come out in the last, like, decade, in the 2000s. Dead Snow, Red vs. Dead. Outpost, Frankenstein's Army, Outpost Black Sun, Blood Creek, Outpost Rise of the Spetsnaz, War of the Dead, and the classic Nazis at the Center of the Earth.
Oh my god, we need to watch that movie.
Yeah.
Nazis at the Center of the Earth.
Apparently Dead Snow, Outpost, and Frankenstein's Army are all, like, pretty good. So we'll see how deep I dive into this Nazi zombie horror. You know.
I mean, just like general Nazi horror experiment shit, that's a huge genre. Even in Marvel.
That's true. I mean, they have, like,
yeah.
I
mean, it's
Red
not.
Skull
Yeah, exactly. It's not actually Hitler, but
right,
it's supposed to be Hitler.
Yeah. Okay, which brings me to what I think is the most interesting part of all of this, which is Hitler's obsession with the occult.
I didn't know he was obsessed with the occult.
Yeah, I did know that. I didn't know to the extent that I found out.
I knew that he was a really shitty painter, and that he got kicked out of art school.
Yeah, it turns out he was also
Twice.
like insane.
Who
would have guessed? So this is all taken from a Washington Post article. I feel like you're reading my notes.
I'm not reading. I can't. I don't have my glasses on. I can't read that.
Anyway, this is taken from a Washington.
I'm just trying to follow along.
2017 Washington Post article that is talking about a book called A Supernatural History of the Third Reich, which I kind of want to order and read now because it sounds bonkers. Here we go. So apparently Hitler and many of his officers and high-ranking people had an intense interest in parapsychology, New Age fantasies, and border science. We knew about the border science. I mean, all of this is pretty horrific, but mostly that. Because they're just crazy and they just, like, really horribly tortured and killed people.
Yeah.
Because they thought they were, like, doing fun science experiments, basically.
God, they're awful. That laugh was not because I thought it was funny.
No, similar to last week.
Just to clarify.
I feel like there's just going to be a lot of uncomfortable laughter in this podcast in general.
Oh, absolutely.
Because we don't know how to process emotions.
Nope.
The Nazi leaders believed the Aryan race was descended from the aliens who had established Atlantis, which I did not know.
So he thought that the Aryan race were basically aliens.
Yes. Who had...
You're kidding
Nope.
me.
Fun twist.
So, okay. There's a lot to unpack here and I don't know where to start.
Well, that's not even the end of my note.
Oh my god.
So he believed that they were descended from aliens who established Atlantis.
Oh my god.
That Satan was a good guy, and werewolves were not only real, but also protected people against the, I'm quoting, ravages and sexual depredations of Slavic vampires.
Oh my god.
So these guys were like really insane.
Really fucking nuts.
I'm sure that there were some Nazis who were just like really cruel, kind of power-hungry people.
Yeah, absolutely.
But from what I understand, there was a large amount of them who were just really, like...
crazy.
Completely insane.
Oh my god.
This is some next level shit.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so not only did he think that the Aryan race were aliens, but that they are also the ones who established Atlantis.
Yeah.
So mermaids.
No.
I mean, okay.
McKenna, Atlantis was not inhabited by mermaids. It was above the ground.
First,
and
I get it.
Destroyed.
I just watched Aquaman. I understand.
So, but he would have believed that Aquaman was an Aryan, like, alien. But the funny thing is that if you look at the old Aquaman comics, he was a really tall, pale, blue-eyed blonde guy.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah. I mean, they kind of all were...
Yeah.
Back then.
Well, not Superman or Batman. He wouldn't have wanted them.
With their brown hair.
Too Jewy looking.
You can say that because you're Jewish.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Satan was a good guy. I mean, a lot of people still think.
Yeah, I mean, there was the whole... I don't remember the LaVey guy, like Anton LaVey, who founded the Church of Satan.
Yeah.
He was also a nut, though. Because there's like...
Really?
Yeah. He wasn't fucking insane.
That was sarcastic.
Oh.
I
don't
like
know.
The
you
guy...
believe weird stuff, man. Like, I don't know.
The guy who founded the Church of Satan is nuts? Are you sure?
But there's the... I can't remember what it's called, but there's like the modern day Church of Satan, which is a bunch of people who think that religion's stupid and like do good works with money.
Oh, yeah. I remember you telling me about that. Because of Sabrina.
Yeah, because the show
sued
Sabrina. Yeah, because they took one of the statues that the church, or it's not called the Church of Satan. I need to look up what it is because it's something.
The modern day.
Yeah. Anyway, they just took one of their statues and like turned it into one of their main evil set pieces. Yeah. And so the Satan guys sued them, and I think they won.
Did they?
I don't know. It might still be going on.
Yeah. And then what was the last part?
Werewolves protected people against the ravages and sexual depredations of Slavic vampires.
So, Twilight.
Yeah. Yeah. But it's like reverse Twilight. Because in Twilight, it's the Native Americans who were the werewolves. Mm-hmm. And then the Aryans who were the vampires, basically. So this is just flipping that around. We could do an episode on racial coding in Twilight.
That's a whole other bag to unpack.
Yeah. Stephenie Meyer is a hack.
Yeah.
But anyway.
That was only the second bullet for that.
Yeah. So they thought that there were real life werewolves going around attacking Slavic vampires who went around like raping people.
But didn't they rape people?
Yes.
Counterintuitive.
I mean, they weren't Slavic vampires, so I guess they thought it was okay. Yeah. It's not like they were nuts or anything. But they all believed in this thing called Ariosophy.
Oh, that sounds awful.
Which prophesied the resurgence of a lost Aryan civilization peopled by Nordic godmen.
Godmen. Not gods, but specifically
godmen.
The male gods.
And a lot of this is just I'm just quoting directly from the article.
That's insane.
Yeah.
So only male gods.
Well, I don't know. I mean Nordic or like men meaning like people.
Okay.
Yeah.
So god people.
Yeah. So there are some contradictions here. I don't know if they thought
surprising.
So
I'm shocked.
The aliens were also gods, basically.
Okay.
Nordic gods.
Oh.
Yeah.
So Nordic gods were aliens.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Which is like, there are other crazy people who believe in ancient aliens who aren't Nazis. So there is a sector of the world who thinks that a lot of ancient civilizations were created by aliens.
Yeah.
I know, it's ridiculous. It's fucking stupid,
a lot of people think the Stonehenge was created by aliens.
Aliens! Yeah. Although, did you know that guy is just a con man?
I'm not surprised.
Fun fact, he got a degree in, like, sports management or something like that, and then he just decided to do this.
That's
and
amazing.
he has like a yearly convention that you can go hang out with other people who believe in ancient aliens, and tickets are like $700.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
People are stupid.
Yep. Okay, so Aryan civilization, people by Nordic god men and women.
Thank you.
That's important.
It is.
They believe that India and Tibet preserved like the structures and traditions of ancient Atlantis.
Interesting. That's
Which
kind
is
of
funny because they definitely would not have liked the people who lived
I know, that's
Tibet
what I was
or
just gonna say. Like,
China.
they're
Yeah.
not,
They're definitely not Nordic.
nope. That's very interesting to me. Also, Atlantis
Yeah.
in India and Tibet.
Yeah.
Mainland?
I mean, if you're looking for consistency, this is not the right belief system to do that in. Here's another direct quote from a Nazi himself.
Oh.
Who believed that monstrous Semites were civilization-destroying materialists who lacked the capacity for transcendence.
What?
The more you read from these people, the more just, like, batshit insane they sound.
Yeah.
Because it's one thing to be, like, just racist.
Yeah.
And, like, think that other races are inferior. That's one type of insanity.
Mm-hmm.
But then to be like, you're inferior because we're descended from aliens and you can't transcend with us. That's
like a whole other level.
So insane. So insane. If these people weren't Nazis, they would just have a cult.
Oh, absolutely.
That, like...
Hitler was basically just a giant cult leader that started a world war.
Yeah, and just, like, committed genocide.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah. Well, maybe not that too. That was kind of the main thing.
Yeah.
About Hitler was the whole genocide
Not that he was a
issue.
cult leader.
Yeah. Although you could probably draw some really interesting comparisons between him and actual cult leaders and certain present-day politicians. But, you know, we don't have to get political.
That's not what we're here for, but
Anywho,
you'll probably hear it anyway.
So Hitler had this book called Magic that apparently he really loved, and he loved it so much that he underlined a passage in it. He who does not carry demonic seeds within him will never give birth to a new world.
Huh.
So I guess the demonic seeds were good?
Yes. I think that because he thought Satan was a good guy, so that would make sense.
So he thought that he was like...
So demons are basically like Satan's angels.
Yeah.
So...
Pretty weird.
So, like, okay, hold on.
Yeah.
Demonic seeds makes me think of possession. So, does he have to be possessed to give birth to a new world?
No, I just think it's more general. Like, if you're not down with the demons, you're never gonna.
If you're not getting down and dirty with Satan,
if you're not using Satan's glass dildo, you'll never give birth to a new world.
No, of course not, because how else would you birth it without a glass dildo?
Yeah.
The glass dildo and demonic seeds.
Yeah.
Like sperm.
So what we're learning is that all of these guys were just really, really closeted gays.
Aren't they all?
Aren't we all?
Isn't everyone a closeted gay? Especially people who hate gay people.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're definitely getting down and dirty with Satan.
With Satan's seeds, baby. It definitely just makes me think of those characters from Parks and Rec. The married couple who are like really anti-gay, and the husband's like really flamboyant.
Yeah. Flaming.
Yeah. So, you know Carl Jung?
No.
Bet you didn't think he was Carl Jung, the psychologist?
No.
Freud's buddy?
Oh, sure.
You don't know who Carl Jung is?
No, I don't. I only ever learned...
J-U-N-G, Jung? I'm sure you've talked about him somewhere.
Probably. I feel like anytime I talk about Freud, it's like only Freud.
Well, Carl Jung invented... You know who Joseph Campbell is?
Yeah.
Carl Jung was like the pre-Joseph Campbell.
Oh, okay.
He came up with the idea of like archetypes.
Oh, okay.
That are like spirits, or we're just reenacting like other spirits.
Yeah.
Collective unconscious and hack shit, you know. But bet you didn't think a famous a 19th century psychologist was going to get wrapped up in all of this.
No, of course not.
But did you know that he was also... he was probably a Nazi.
Cool.
Yeah, didn't know that. Never heard that before. But apparently he believed that Hitler was a medium, and he was, quote, from Carl Jung, mouthpiece of the gods of old.
Oh, I have so much to say.
Yeah, so there that is.
I don't doubt you ever watched it because you don't watch like reality TV show, but there was a TV show about a medium. She was from like Jersey, and she had like hair that was like a foot tall.
I know what you're talking about because John Oliver just did an episode about psychics, and she was featured heavily. We should have watched it because he's just like, this is so dumb.
All I'm picturing is Hitler with like hair that's a foot tall and like acrylic nails.
Or that medium with a Hitler stash.
Both aren't great.
No. But anyway, yeah, so the guy that everyone learns about in college and is taught in multiple classes, like across multiple disciplines, was probably a Nazi.
Cool.
We apparently don't like to talk about that.
We don't like to talk about a lot of things.
Yeah, that's pretty shocking though.
Yeah,
it's kind of creepy that like someone, and look, I don't know, I haven't researched this past the article that I read, so there might have been more. He might have been like, Carl Jung might have said Hitler would be the mouthpiece of the gods of old if he wasn't a racist, hateful maniac.
Yeah.
But just based off of this quote, it makes me wonder, how he felt about everything.
I feel like being a Nazi or in support of Hitler in any way, shape, or form is pretty frowned upon.
Yeah.
In about 90% of the world's population.
I mean, it seems like he said that and then, went to great lengths to not be identified as a Nazi, which is kind of creepy.
Yeah, that makes it worse.
He's super, he's one of the most influential psychologists.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes it worse.
And this plays into that whole paranoia of they're among us. There's
Yeah.
He just went on living his life and doing this thing.
Yeah, totally.
Maybe being a secret closet Nazi.
Cute.
Interestingly enough, Hitler condemned astrology and supernatural beliefs that he deemed commercial. Because he didn't want people to feel like they could do it themselves. He wanted to be the one being like, no, I am the conduit to the gods.
Oh,
basically.
yeah. Well, I mean, there's the power-hungry Hitler we all know and love.
Yeah. And they also believed in something, Hitler specifically believed in something called the world ice theory, which was the belief that icy moons had crashed into Earth, bringing living kernels from outer space that would evolve into Aryan super beings.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
This is really just
it's a lot. This is a big information dump. There's a lot going on.
So much to process.
Yeah.
Why didn't we learn about this in school?
I don't know.
This would have been I would have actually paid attention in history class specifically.
Yeah.
If we had learned about Hitler's obsession with the occult.
I think the focus is probably rightfully on just the massive human toll that he took on the world, but it's good to have a laugh at Hitler's expense every now and then.
There's just so much insanity.
Yeah.
And I think actually, not to get political, but I feel like if we actually talked about this side of Hitler more, people probably wouldn't be as likely to associate themselves with him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I think you're right. Oh.
If they were like, oh, by the way,
yeah,
Hitler thought that he was a medium.
Right.
And a descendant of an alien.
You know that dumb alt-right blood and soil chant?
Yep.
That comes from this.
No, it does not.
Yeah, let me look it up.
Because
I was kind of skimming through the article.
Do they actually understand that this...
I mean, clearly not.
Okay.
So this guy who was just kind of talking about the association between Germany and whack shit came up with the blood and soil.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So if anyone who happens to listen to this is a member of the alt-right, one of your big slogans is just from a totally nutty guy talking about how he thought that you were all Satan's seeds.
They will love that.
Yeah.
All of those hyper-Christian
yeah,
fucking
they might want to rethink.
Yeah.
Their religion, once they figure out that Hitler secretly believed that Satan was a good guy.
He was secretly a Satanist.
A Satanist, yeah. Which is like...
I just want to, like, crush all of their worlds right now and be like, you know, that Hitler and pretty much everyone that was a Nazi believed that Satan was the good guy.
Yeah. I do hesitate to call Hitler a Satanist because I feel like it gives Satanists a bad name. He wasn't really a Satanist. He was just, like, crazy.
Yeah, he was nuts.
Yeah. Because, like, all of the stuff with aliens and Nordic godmen has nothing to do with Satan.
Unless
it's
Satan,
just like, you just
unless there's something we don't know that Satan knows.
Aquaman?
Aquaman? We gotta hit up
Jason Momoa.
Jason Momoa and be like, yo, what's up? Also, Hitler would not be very happy about Jason Momoa being Aquaman.
No, but the bad guy in Aquaman was a Aryan-looking fella.
He was an Aryan-looking fella.
Yeah. This is nuts, man. This is so much crazy. It's hard to really process it.
It really is. And I'm just going to go into even more fucking crazy because I want to talk about some more creepypasta shit.
If it was just one of these things,
it would be palatable.
Right, but it's like...
It's all of
Satan,
them. Werewolves.
Vampires.
Aliens.
Nords. The most terrifying of them all.
Did I already say
you
Satan?
You said Satan, but why not bring him up again? Demon Seeds and Carl Jung. Oh, and
the ice theory.
World ice theory. Yeah.
Ice moons had crashed into Earth.
Living kernels.
Yeah.
Like popcorn.
I imagine little popcorn seeds.
Yeah.
That are also Satan seeds.
Yeah. So
demonic seeds.
Knowing this, I think this rash of Nazi zombie movies makes more sense.
Absolutely.
Because everything about these guys was nuts.
Well, and even like if you were just basing it off of the very true and very real actual like experiments that they did on people during like World War II, before and after.
Yeah.
Even that is just like a totally like pretty good reason to all of these movies.
Yeah.
But then you just add in all the batshit crazy alien stuff.
Yeah.
It makes even more sense.
Demon Seeds and Dildos. That's going to be the name of my new indie band.
No, but they're the... Yes, so the dildos... Never mind.
Nope, by all means, continue.
What
would you like to say about the dildos?
A lot. No, I'm done.
I mean, there are also there are two beakers that look suspiciously like dildos.
It's true.
But
they're very phallic.
I'm talking about the one that's curved and has a big bulbous head. If anyone's wondering, for a visual reference.
That's where all of the demon seeds are kept.
Yeah.
They're all crowded up right at the tip.
Right. Just the tip.
Just the tip.
Anyway, you took some notes as well.
Yes.
This might be a really long episode.
It might be.
Because we haven't even talked about the movie.
No. I'll keep my portion short and sweet.
Okay. I did. There was a lot in what I talked about, so I apologize for taking up so much time.
That's okay. When watching the movie, was reminded of the Russian sleep experiment, which is, it is a creepypasta. So it's not real, but it's like based off of all of these kinds of experiments that did happen before, during, and after World War II, and it takes place in World War II. So just to give you a really fun recap. So the Russian sleep experiment was done in the late 1940s, and it consisted of 5 political prisoners during World War II. They were kept in a chamber. They were promised freedom if they cooperated and did not sleep for 30 days.
Okay. So
the chamber was completely closed off. And it had one way in and out. And it had portholes around a couple of portholes to look in, but no videotape. So there wasn't, they didn't have any, video footage of it. They just had the portholes and microphones to monitor what was happening inside.
It was 1940s.
Yeah.
So they would have had to lug in one of those big,
Well, exactly.
movie camera.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So the chamber was monitored, like it was completely sealed off, but they had an oxygen monitor to make sure to like monitor how much oxygen they were taking in, because they were pumping gas into the chamber.
Okay.
It was like a gas that was supposed to like keep them awake.
Okay.
The theory was that like if they were able to stay awake, they would have soldiers that wouldn't have to sleep, and they could just fight and walk all day, all night, and not have to like take, whatever breaks during the night. Right. All that kind of stuff. So that was like the theory behind it, that they would create these like hyper aware super soldiers, basically. But the room was probably better than their cells as political prisoners, because they stocked it up with books. They had cots. They had no bedding because they weren't supposed to sleep, but they had cots. Okay. They had running water, toilet, and enough food for all 5 of them to last a month. So they had like their own personal pantry, lots of books to read to keep themselves entertained. So it was probably better than their regular cells. So that was kind of the premise to start out in what the chamber looked like. So the first 5 days were fine. The prisoners didn't complain because they were promised freedom. They weren't going to get freedom, but like they were promised freedom in order to like cooperate with it. But after 5 days, or I guess kind of like each day, they started to like talk about like increasingly more like sinister and dark and intense topics. And they thought it was just like an effect because of the gas, and they were sleep deprived, that they were just kind of like going deeper and deeper into their own psyches, and they were sharing, and the 5 of them were all talking to each other. After 5 days, they all became paranoid and stopped talking to each other. Like immediately. They would take turns, because there was like the microphones in the room, so that they could hear what was going on. They would each take turns whispering into the microphone. Like one person would come in and whisper, and then the next person would come in and whisper, but they wouldn't talk to each other. They thought that they could gain the trust of the people doing the experiment, and they started to like turn on each other and tell them each other's secrets. And after 4 more days of this, so we're on day 9 now, they did this for 4 days. This one dude just starts screaming, and he doesn't stop. He goes for 3 straight hours, like one long scream for 3 hours, until he strains his own vocal cords, and he keeps trying to scream, but he can only like make occasional like squeaks and things like that. But what's interesting about this is that the other 4 didn't react. Like completely, like they were like didn't even know what was happening. And then shortly after this, the another person starts doing the exact same thing, while 2 others took the books and tore like pages out, and then smeared their feces on them and covered the portholes. And immediately after all the portholes were covered, it was silent for 3 days. They were able to tell that all 5 of them were still alive because of the oxygen intake. So they could tell that like oxygen was still being used. And it was actually at a level to where if all 5 of them were doing strenuous exercise for 3 days. On the 14th day, that was day 9 that the screaming happened, and that they covered up the portholes. So 3 days after that is day 12. So 2 days of it being completely silent. They called over the intercom to be like, oh, we're gonna come in and like check. We think like one of the microphones went off or whatever. Like they were just like kind of made an excuse to like go into the room. They haven't heard anything for 2 or 3 days, and they just hear someone whispered, "We no longer want to be freed." On the 15th day, they enter the chamber, and immediately all of them started to scream and ask for the gas to be turned back on. Because they had temporarily turned it off so that the people could go in and, and like assess the situation in there. And they all immediately started freaking out and begging for it to be turned back on. Once they got in there, they determined that 4 out of the 5 people were alive. Mm-hmm. One of them was dead. And the food had not been touched since the 5th day.
Okay.
So they hadn't been eating, sleeping, anything like that. They had barely even moved. Mm. The dead subject had the flesh from his thighs and chest torn off and then stuffed into the drain in the middle of the room. And this was to prevent any of the gas from escaping down the drain. And when they went in, there was about 4 inches of blood and water piled up on the floor, and they were just sitting in it. The living subjects also had pieces of flesh torn out of them, but it was self-inflicted. Mm. So with their bare hands, dug into their skin and ate it. And they could tell that they actually ate it because their intestines were laying out on the floor in front of them, and they could see their flesh being digested by the intestines that were laying out in front of them. Mm. So obviously, they were like, what the fuck is happening here? So they attempted to capture them and take them to like a nearby hospital and like operate on them or whatever. But and this is where it kind of reminded me of it, is that they had like superhuman strength, all while like their intestines hanging out of their bodies. So one of the poor guards that got sent in was actually killed because one guy with his bare hands ripped his throat out, and they were not able to be sedated. Like, sedatives were not working on them. They were immune to it. And they kept just begging and screaming and asking for the gas to be turned on, saying, we can't go to sleep, we can't go to sleep, we can't go to sleep. Mm. And they also didn't, like, die right away. So one guy actually bled out. So I think it was the guy that tore the other dude's neck out. Mm. They had able to kind of not sedate him, but they had tackled him and attacked him. And he actually bled out, but his heart was still beating for 2 minutes after he bled out. Like, our heart was beating just air. Like, it wasn't, like, beating blood. And then 2 minutes after that, so 5 minutes after this guy is dead, he's still screaming and asking for more. Mm-hmm. One that they were able to get to surgery, and was the guy who was screaming and tore his own vocal cords, so he couldn't talk. They were like, the only thing he could do is that they were like trying to sedate him. He was just shaking his head, no, don't sedate me, When one of the doctors was like, well, why don't we just do the surgery without him being sedated, because like we can't sedate him. And the guy just nodded his head up and down, and during the 6-hour surgery had no reaction to anything except for the occasional smile. And that is a abbreviated story of the Russian sleep experiments during World War II.
Right. Fictional, though.
Yes, that's my fictional portion of the story. That's pretty bananas, though, right?
It's pretty good, yeah. There's some good creepypastas out there.
I just think it's creepy regardless if it's real or not.
Yeah.
Like, it's just some fucked up shit, man. But, because this movie is it's about, like, bringing these dudes back to life and them having superhuman strength and becoming, like, super soldiers.
You mentioned the
1,000-year Reich thing.
The room that didn't have any,
the chamber.
Right. And it had, the portholes and stuff. That kind of reminded me of the movie, too.
Yeah. Yeah, because it had those, stone...
Yeah.
Yeah, and it just had a little peephole. That was in the trailer, if anyone saw the trailer. Just super creepy.
That's a good one.
I know. And that's I didn't really go into, the whole, ending, because that's not even where it ends. This is, the first half. But this is, the only part that's really relevant.
Yeah.
It's actually kind of fun fact related to, there's a sleep demon. I forget what it's called. But a lot of people relate this to, or say that this story was inspired by this sleep demon, and that they had gone so insane from not sleeping that for 15, whatever, however many days
Yeah.
they lasted until they went into the chamber, that she had, like, come to them, and that if they fell asleep, she was going to kill them.
Right.
Kind of thing. So that's kind of like the second half of it, which is not super related to this, but, like, the first half of, like, the actual experiment and that kind of stuff, I thought was, you know, kind of similar to
Yeah, definitely.
what happened in this movie. So what happened in the movie?
What happened in the movie? It's D-Day, 1944.
Yes.
They're in a plane.
Yep.
They get shot out of the sky
Yep.
over France.
Yep.
A small group of survivors has to navigate their way through a small French town to get to a Nazi-inhabited church to take down their radio tower for some reason.
So that airplanes can get to Normandy to support the troops on the ground.
Yeah. So there are like four or five people who survive the plane crash, and they meet up with a rebellious young lass.
Yes.
In the village. And one of them, kind of the main character, almost by accident, gets brought into the church.
Mm-hmm. Well, and the young lass, the French woman that they run into and kind of befriend, her aunt is a subject of the experiments that are happening.
Right. So we find out they're doing experiments in the church involving the tar in this town, and they're basically just making zombies. I don't have a whole lot to say about this movie. Because it wasn't amazing. It was good. I would definitely recommend it. It's a fun time.
It is.
But there's nothing, like, really thematically going on that's that important.
She's back.
Did she ever really leave? There's interesting kind of motif with, like, animals running through the movie.
Yeah.
But it didn't really go anywhere.
No.
It didn't pay off in a meaningful way. I think it was kind of, like, trying to be like, oh, who are the animals? Is it the animals or the people? You know? Because people kind of behaved very violently and animalistically in it.
Yeah.
But it wasn't really explored much more deeply than just it being there.
Yeah.
And there wasn't anything technically in it that blew me away. It was a very well-made movie.
Yeah, there weren't any, like, specific shots or scenes that I was, like, wowed with. It was a war movie.
Yeah, I think the one I like the big oneer when he jumps out of the plane.
Yeah, that was good.
That follows him into the water. That was cool. It wasn't a particularly, like, flashy movie.
No.
It was well directed and well written. There wasn't anything that really, like,
stood out, good or bad.
Yeah.
You know, besides it fitting in that Nazi zombie and
demon seed.
Yes, the demon seed World War II experiment.
Yeah.
Timelines. I mean, there wasn't really a whole lot.
I think I would have liked some more experimenting.
Yeah.
The only zombies in it, except at the end when everyone's
a zombie
just stabbing themselves with the serum and turning into a zombie.
Yeah.
It's just the one guy with he only has one arm.
Yep. That was
chases the woman.
Yeah, and he was the one who was in the cement the
cell thing.
Cell, yeah.
Yeah.
With the porthole.
Yeah. And then the photographer guy. And I think the aunt too was infected with something.
Yeah.
But they never went back to that.
No, they didn't. Well, she died.
I guess.
They killed her.
Did they?
Yeah.
Did they show that?
No. Well, kind of. So when they were trying to break into the lab / church, they devised, like, that plan where she will distract them, and, like, she did that. And as she, like, snuck out, got their attention, and then ran towards the Americans, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
You hear, like, the guy that follows her say, I'll get her, you get the aunt.
Right.
And then they go upstairs. You see them go into the house. And then when she goes around to the back of the house, you see gunshots from the upstairs window, which is supposedly the aunt getting shot and killed.
I didn't, like, put that together.
Yeah,
you're right.
So, I mean, there's not really a lot to follow up with because she's dead.
She dead.
So, It makes me think that maybe she's not a zombie, because they wouldn't have been able to kill her if it were just a gunshot.
Yeah.
So she might have just been a test subject gone wrong.
Right. Yeah.
Because there are also other test subjects that were, alive but not zombies that looked like her that they had blow torch towards the beginning.
Yeah. I think I would have enjoyed this more if it had been more of a horror movie.
I think so too. I think it needed more
spook.
Yeah.
To it. It was good, but it was I think it was a little
room for improvement.
Yeah. I think it was a little too action heavy. And that's just preference. I just don't love action movies.
Yeah. I think it would have benefited from it, really doing the horror part of this movie justice, because it was it was so obviously, parts of it were so obviously horror.
Yeah.
And I think if they really just done those parts justice and made that a majority of the movie, then it probably, I'm sure there would have been a lot more interesting.
Yeah.
Well, I think there would have been a lot more interesting shots and things like that too, because you could get more creative with the
visuals and stuff.
Yeah, so I think that would have improved. Not that it needed to be improved necessarily, but I think that would have made it maybe more. I don't think I need to see this movie ever again. I don't think I need to watch it again.
I'll probably watch it again.
Yeah.
I had fun. Yeah.
Yeah, I enjoyed it, but it's not something that I'm wow, I can't wait until I watch this again.
No, but it's a good I would put this on if I wanted just a fun time. It's a fun time movie.
It is, yeah.
Even though it's kind of brutal sometimes.
Yeah.
But I think that they could have shot the stuff in the compound a little bit better. I think it was a really cool set.
Yeah,
and there was a lot of just close-ups of people, so you could kind of see it in the background, but there were never really any glory shots of the lab and stuff.
Yeah,
I think of something
the lab was super freaky.
It was, and it had a really interesting and cool design. And I think of a movie like Cure for Wellness, which is really kind of about the design and architecture of that castle, and how well that did physical location. And I think that this movie could have used more of that style. It could have built the atmosphere more.
Yeah.
Because it was more concerned with kind of the visceral...
The storyline.
The story and the visceral war stuff.
Yeah.
But it didn't build up a good creepy atmosphere, really, ever.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes that worked... Because I liked the war stuff.
Yeah.
I thought that was really well done. And I liked the body horror. But the horror was only good when it was shocking. Yeah. There was not particularly good at being tense or creepy. Because any time you could kind of tell that something was coming, I was always it's gonna be action. Yeah. Which doesn't make me tense. That's just there's gonna be an action scene here. Yeah. At the end when
a fight scene.
Right. When they're gonna blow it up.
Yeah.
I wasn't scared because I just knew that he was just gonna fight the Nazi general with the blown up face. Yeah. So I think it could have benefited from more atmosphere and tension building and kind of playing up the creepiness of it all. Yeah. And the visuals of it, and less just of the punchy shoot 'em up stuff. Yeah. Which is fun. Yeah. I don't really have anything against it, but
I don't either, but I don't have anything particularly for it either. Right.
Yeah. So it was kind of a mixed bag. Yeah. Of a movie. It's all good. It's all very enjoyable. Yeah. But I think it could have been a better movie. Yeah. And I think part of it is that it's a very B-movie schlock script. It's clearly referencing a style of movie that was very prevalent in the 70s and the 80s, which is kind of just the schlocky exploitation. Yeah. Oh, we're Nazis, we're gonna kill them all. Yeah. Right. So it's kind of referencing that style, but it's filmed and directed in a very modern and very technically proficient manner. So it's an odd mix of kind of a B movie story and ideas and a really slick style. Yeah. So I don't know if it totally worked. I think it could have benefited from swinging more one way or the other. Yeah.
Just choosing one and really rolling with it.
Yeah. And I think there are a couple. I've noticed that that's a style of filmmaking now, which is kind of like potboiler stories, kind of like schlocky stories, but just done in the style of like almost a prestige drama. And I think that kind of started with David Fincher, who did like Girl with the Dragon Tattoo and Gone Girl and a bunch of stuff. He does a lot of thrillers, and some of them have like really great ideas in them, and some of them definitely are elevated to like higher material. Yeah. But I think that's just because he's so good. So when it's not him doing it, and it's people who aren't as talented as David Fincher kind of doing his thing, it doesn't totally work. Because I also think of that movie Don't Breathe. Yeah. Which I think falls into a similar category of like lowbrow, like B-movie horror. Totally. But filmed in this very like elegant visual way. Yeah. And I think that it makes for a good movie, but it almost feels like the director is like at odds with what the story is. Yeah. And I think in both cases they could have leaned more into the schlock and made a schlock movie. Yeah, yeah. I don't know. Those are my thoughts. Yeah, I'd agree. I never really I felt engaged. Yeah. The entire time because there's stuff happening. Yeah. Like throughout the entire movie, like it didn't stop. Right. Yeah. But it also, because it didn't stop, wasn't able to build any tension or really like develop much of a story. Then we gotta fuck up the Nazis. Yeah. Yeah, this was the Force Awakens of Nazi zombie movies. It was. Once it gets going, it just doesn't stop for anything. Nope. And it's fun, but nothing more than fun. Yeah. Not that you necessarily could have made a more intelligent movie about Nazi zombies, but I do. I think you could have made a better horror movie about Nazi zombies. Yeah, or a better action movie. Yeah. Like, I think that was its problem, was that it was a little bit of both. It was flipping around too much. Yeah. And I think sometimes it worked and sometimes it didn't. I think the transition from war movie into body horror worked really well. Yeah. But then I think because they're quite similar and oftentimes relate to each other. So like war movies will often have a lot of body horror, and body horror movies tend to be war related just because they are so similar in nature. There's so much to draw from each other. Yeah, there's a lot of similarities between like someone getting blown up with a grenade and then like physical like horror shit. Yeah. Yeah. So I think that worked well, but then I think the transition from body horror into like zombie action movie didn't work as well. There also weren't very many zombies in it. I would have. There weren't. I think if you're gonna go there, like go there. Yeah, and I almost like, I know that they technically were zombies, but I would almost consider it more along the lines of just like a super soldier. Yeah. Because it wasn't like, the zombies that we kind of think of, like Walking Dead, like there was a virus outbreak kind of thing. Like it was like purely experimental, and they were just trying to create soldiers that would never die. So it felt. I mean, that's what a zombie is. Though. I know. Yeah. But while I was watching the movie, the word zombie never really came to my mind. I never really thought. Yeah. I mean, but these are zombies. That's what zombies originally were, though. Like the flesh-eating shit didn't come along until the 70s. Yeah. So in that way, these are much closer to original what the idea of a zombie was. That's true. I had a point that I was going to make, but I don't remember what it was. I think you could have gone more horror. I also think you could have gone more kind of like swashbuckling Indiana Jonesy with it. Would have been a fun direction. I think what kind of like leaves a little bit of a, not much of a sour taste, but a little bit of a sour taste in my mouth is that the action felt very like familiar, and it wasn't particularly well directed action. It was fine. Yeah. But that fight scene at the end was like, there wasn't anything in it that really like jumped out at me as being really clever action. The hook was quite freaky. Yeah, but that was before it really got going into action. And that was the horror part. Yeah. So I don't know. It was good. Yeah, I'd recommend it for sure. Yeah, I would too. It's worth a watch. Yeah. It's always fun to see Nazis get their dues. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. It's therapeutic. I'd give it a 7.5, 8. Yeah, I'd give it a B-. Yeah, that's like 78. Yeah. All right. I think that wraps it up. Overlord. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is quite the episode.
It was.
Yeah.
Even if the movie was not particularly exciting one way or the other, and we didn't have a lot of talk about the actual film, boy oh boy, did we really delve into some crazy bananas stuff.
It spawned some conversation.
It really did.
Yeah. Man.
I had no idea about Hitler and the occult, and that will never be leaving my mind.
No.
That will forever be a part of me.
It's pretty crazy how we aren't actively talking about that every day.
I know. That's what I was saying.
Yeah.
And again, I feel like there would be a lot less people being like, oh yeah, Hitler had some good ideas, if they really knew that he just thought they were aliens.
Yeah.
So I feel like this podcast is going to really bust some shit open.
We have to get this out there.
We have to really if our podcast is going to change the world.
Yeah, I think so.
Because everyone's going to learn that Hitler thought
really
he was an alien.
Ripping back the mask.
We are. Here. And you heard it here first, folks.
Well, third, actually. Because the first time was the book, and the second time was the article, and then the third time was us.
Okay, well, third and most importantly...
You heard it here first.
You did
You read it there first, but you heard it here first.
I was correct the entire time, per usual.
Okay.
Alright, so,
Overlord. Would recommend it.
Yep.
Look into the Hitler stuff.
It's really fucking wild.
Tell a friend. Spread the word.
Spread the gospel. No, never mind.
Satan seed.
Satan seed.
Yep.
We have a Facebook.
Yeah, facebook.com/mysticfrightcast.
Yep.
Or at Mystic Frightcast.
Keep an eye out on our Instagram and Twitter, and we'll let you know what movie we're going to be talking about. So
follow us on TikTok.
The new Vine.
It
sucks, though.
What are you talking about? We have all those cool ads on YouTube.
Oh, God.
What's your TikTok handle? Let me know. At me. I actually do have a Twitter.
You do, at Zane Dion.
I have not looked at it.
I sent you something on Twitter, recently. I sent you a tweet because I thought it was funny. And then you don't go on Twitter anymore, so... Follow us basically on Facebook, and you'll find out about all of our other stuff. And we'll probably have that up and running by the time that this comes out.
We'll set up a tutor.
A tutor?
Tutor. I tooted. I'm going to make that. That'll be my social media. I just posted a teat.
I just posted a teat on my tutor.
I just tooted. I put up a teat. Don't steal my idea, Elon Musk.
Okay.
All right.
Adios.